Oh yeah, we're rolling. We're rolling. So this is the part one of our, I would say this is going to be our best series we have on this school platform. So we're happy to have you here. I'm Dakota.
And I'm Dave.
David.
David. In Mexico, it's David.
Dakota. So part one here, we have planning and logistics. So in this course, we're going to show you guys everything you need to know. We're going to tell you all the secrets that you aren't going to want to hear, first of all, but we're going to tell you all the secrets that you should hear, and how to host your first retreat, or even if you hosted a few retreats, how to make it profitable or how to think outside of the box, because a lot of times we just need new ideas and boom, there you go, you're profitable, right? So we have first is theme and vibe. So at the end of the day, you're throwing a 5-day party for people. Sometimes, less, sometimes more, but at the end of the day, that's what you're doing. So realize that and don't overcomplicate anything, because you're just throwing a party for individuals, usually in a certain niche. So when it comes to niche, that's when it goes to your theme and vibe. So before you host any retreat, think of the vibe, think of the theme, because our vibe is jungle vibe. It's sovereignty. It's content creators fucking around, creating content. So you go to our page of Bioculture, you know exactly what kind of vibe or theme our retreats are, kind of. Even though we change our themes, whether it's like...
Yeah, that's the other thing, is that we have fun themes. So we love Lord of the Rings and Harry Potter.
Yeah.
We know most people do. Most people are around our age group as well, so it's very nostalgic for them.
Oh, yeah.
And within those themes, we adhere to the soundtracks of the theme, and that in it itself is very memorable, to the point that if we play that song from Lord of the Rings, like the Shire song, that's like Pavlovian's dogs for some of these retreat guests, where it reminds them of that retreat. So that's huge.
Super important, yes. You live rent-free in people's heads, for sure. We got Harry Potter on the background right now. It's probably fucking
This is how authentic we are.
We got the AC on. I'm just thinking, is this fucking with the audio? No, but themes matter, but they're not as important. The vibe always stays the same usually, though. What your vibe is for the retreat, that's how people would know you. And maybe the vibe changes. You do certain... Well, maybe some's like more ceremonial vibe, some women's only vibe, like men's only, whatever, it can change. But anyways, just understand your theme and vibe, come first, articulate that, and understanding it's just throwing a 3 to 7 day party for that and for the dream avatar of that type of vibe and theme, right? Super simple. You start there, and then you move on to your venue and your food and your work crew. So these are your main 3 expenses when you're doing anything. With your venue, for instance, we are here in Sayulita, we do a rancho. It's perfect for us. We use that, it's perfect for our jungle vibe, it's good cost, all that's good. Our food, we got that figured out. We went as straight to the source as we could. I recommend doing the same. Cut out all the third party middlemen you can cut out, because at the end of the day, if you're hosting retreats, you're 1/4 of food business, because you're feeding people for 7 days. Yeah. It's a big deal.
And you're saving a lot of money by going straight to the farms like that we do.
Yeah.
And the sourcing is better too. You get to actually know that it's good quality food, because you shouldn't cheap out on giving shitty food to a high ticket offer like this. It should be great quality food, and the people coming are going to trust you more, knowing that we actually went and sourced right from the source itself.
Yep. And the last one is your work crew. So for your work crew, how much can you collaborate with people? How can you get some of your guests to host the yoga, the breath work, meditation? Can you host anything? Can you lead the circles of whatever ceremony you're doing? Like, add as much collaboration as you can to where your work crew expenses are less. But for your, for instance, your kitchen crew, having your own kitchen crew, you get to create a catering service. So right now, that's something that it's not the easiest. We have a world-class kitchen crew now. So we pretty much have a catering company that does 2 retreats a month.
Yeah.
So if you can do that in-house, that's huge. It's one of the biggest expenses. So, and you can quality control everything. Like he just said, go straight to the source. And if there's a problem in the kitchen, or you want to change something, or you want to add something to the menu, it's your menu. You get to do whatever you want. Nothing's worse than being at a retreat center and then not serving meat or
We've had a lot of experience with that, and that's why we made those necessary changes and implemented it into our model. Yeah. And we found that it works great.
Yeah, and you got friends that want to be, or they might have kitchen experience or cooking experience. You get to put them on, put money in, keep the money in the family. Super important. So those are the main expenses you will have: the real estate, the venue, the food costs, and then your work expenses. So those are the main tips for that, to keep that low. And then you have your added activities. These are your side, your B expenses. So your activities, so I just went into that. How much can you host it? Do you know a yoga instructor as a friend that wants to be involved in the retreat to host the yoga? Don't go and pay $150 a class for yoga every day. Next thing you know, you have a $600 yoga expense when you could have in-house that. Easy. You might have a friend that would love that exposure for you. Then you have your special guests. So are you going to pay a certain creator, which we're going to talk more about in the next videos of this, which is super important. Like we hint, like you need to have creators somehow involved in your retreats. So sometimes you got to pay them, or sometimes you just say, hey, you got a free retreat. If they're a friend of yours, but they have, you know, a couple 100,000 in their audience on Instagram, come to our retreat, come to it for free. But sometimes you have to pay for that. And then we have excursions, props, gift bags, etc. So excursions, I would keep them to a bare minimum. You know, like don't get crazy with it because it's so many parts and processes. And usually people want to connect. So maybe I would limit excursions to 1 per retreat. Just in our experiences, most retreats we don't even have an excursion.
Yeah.
It's like bringing people out of the vibe.
Yeah.
And then props and gift bags, that's up to you, whatever you want. Maybe you have props for certain ceremonies. I would just keep it to a minimum. Think about it. Don't do certain ceremonies or something that just costs hundreds or maybe even thousands of dollars and it's not really a big value add for your guests. I would stay away from those. If it doesn't directly impact your guests' time, I would stay away from it. Mm-hmm. And then last part of this first video would be a rough P&L. So profit and loss. Just get a rough profit and loss for all of the things that you got to pay for, what I just mentioned, and then how much profit you got to bring in, like how many guests per head, how much is it going to cost per bed at the venue that you're at. You just start figuring this out and it's super easy, and then you find out your bare minimums that you need to make it at least like you're not losing money. You're working for free pretty much, but we want to make it profitable, right? You have anything to add to that?
No, just being super organized with that. Make sure you have your bookkeeping in order. Yep. We just implemented a newer Excel spreadsheet, and I'm manning that right now. So just, making sure there's no double payments, just basic accounting stuff, super easy to learn.
Oh yeah, so accounting 101, start to do your P&L, balance that
shit.
No, but that's all for the planning and logistics part. A lot to think about, but it's really simple. Don't overcomplicate it. You are hosting a party. It's just for more individuals than you're used to having, and it's for extended days. That's all. So we'll see you in the next video, and the next video will be tips before throwing your party. So main things before you let your people know, like, oh, I got a retreat coming up, watch the next video first. This will save your life. You're welcome.